All right, hello, and welcome back to the Odessia podcast, place where we talk about random stuff that interests us. My name is Niklas, and today we're going to talk about creative expression and overall creativity. But quickly before I introduce my guest here, the first episode that aired last week with my good friend Levi, and overall, I was actually pretty happy about it. We talked about ourselves, our thoughts on some things, shared some stories, traveling and military history, and a few other things as well. But I just wanted to say that I am aware of some technical issues within the first 20 minutes. But I just wanted to share what I think happened, and it was just the editing program I used, not super familiar with it, so I think I accidentally undid my edits, and I just never realized it. So when I published it, and just with how long it takes to edit it and then re-upload it, I just don't think it's worth it, but I will note that for the future reference. But anyways, just wanted to apologize about that, and I look forward to having Levi on the podcast again. But anyways, on that note, I'd like to finally introduce my guest here today, my fellow roommate and overall one of the most positive people I've ever met, Em.
Hello. It's nice to be here. I'm very excited.
Well, it's good to have you here. Would you like to introduce yourself, share some of your backstory?
Yeah, I can totally do that. So my name's Em. I lived in Grand Prairie for most of my life. I was born in BC, but moved to Grand Prairie, Alberta, when I was like 1. So lived there most of my life. I just recently moved to Lethbridge. That's where I met Nick. That's where I met my wonderful roommate.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And I've just kind of been discovering myself, just figuring out the city, learning what there is here, living on my own. That's brand new. I'm only 19, so kind of just figuring out what it means to adult and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, well, you got your whole life ahead of you. You got a lot of time to figure that stuff out. But, no, that's good. So I just wanted to share that Em here is a huge fan of Pixar, like massive fan of
This is
Pixar.
true.
So I just wanted to get your take on how you first discovered your passion of Pixar.
Oh, okay. Well, growing up, I was always a big fan. Like,
Yeah.
I would watch Finding Nemo almost every day.
Okay.
That was my jam. But there was, like, a weird period where it was, like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, where I was like, oh, I'm too old for Pixar movies. Like, I'm too cool for this kind of thing.
Right.
And then Toy Story 3 came out, and I didn't want to see it because, again, I was like, yeah, no, I'm too old for this. Like, we're too cool. But my dad really wanted to see it because he loves the Toy Story movies.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, you should come with me. You should come with me. And I was like, oh, God, okay, fine. I guess I'll do that. And then I watched it, and then it blew me away. I was obsessed. And I think I was around 11-ish at the time when I saw it. And after that, I went all in. I was looking at, like, all the research. I got, like, the art books. I was, like, looking into, like, all the directors and everything like that. And they just really, really captured my imagination.
So what did you really love about it? Was it like the story, the characters, the animation, just a little bit of everything?
I mean, a little bit of everything, of course, but I just love how, even though it's maybe considered like a kid's movie because it's anime, it really finds a way to relate to everyone at every age.
Yeah.
I think Pixar is really good at that. Maybe not as much recently, but just they really know how to get those emotions going, teach you a lesson, really, just teach you lessons about life, and I love that. And also just, like, the art is beautiful, the animation is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just love, like, some of the takes they take. Like, I don't know, like, monsters scaring kids in a closet. They made a whole movie about that. That's fun.
Yeah, I gotta admit, they have very, very creative, unique ideas.
Yeah, just stuff like that you just wouldn't really think of, and then they just make an entire movie about, like, feelings with feelings. They made an entire movie about that. And it was
What
really
movie's
good.
that? I don't remember.
Inside Out.
That's Inside.
Yeah, because, like,
I don't know if I've
sadness.
seen that.
Oh, it's good. Oh, I recommend.
When did that come out?
A few years ago? It's kind of recent-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's directed by Pete Docter. He's my personal fave. I love that man. Yeah, it's very good. It's a movie about feelings with feelings.
And it's directed by who?
Pete Docter.
So what has he done?
He's done Monsters, Inc., and he's done Up, and he's doing a new
okay.
one right now called Soul. So he's very, very good.
When's that due for release?
2020, I think.
Next
I
year?
Could be wrong. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay,
next
okay.
year.
Next year for us.
Yeah.
By when we're filming this. Just worthy of a note. Interesting. What makes you really like him, though?
I think First of all, like so far the movies he made, I think are very, very well done. Like Monsters Inc. I think is phenomenal. Inside Out I think is phenomenal. Up I think is phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
the first 10 minutes of Up, oof, it gets me. But whenever I watch bonus features of him, he's just a really wholesome guy. Like you can tell he's very genuine, very sweet. Like really just wants to like
Very passionate about what he does.
yeah, and just really wants to help people out. And I don't know, I think he's just a really true leader, good director. I remember I think I watched a bonus feature when he was making Monsters Inc. and he was talking about how he was really nervous to direct because that was his first time directing.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know, it was just really sweet to see. Like he just wants to do well for everyone, and that's his big thing. I think he does that. I think he's just really kind.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, no, for me, I'm a huge fan of stories that, have a lasting impact on someone, whether it's positively or negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And no, those definitely did have pretty big positive impact, especially Monsters Inc.
Oh, Monsters Inc.
God,
So
I
good.
loved that show when I was younger.
So good.
That was a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick one Pixar movie, though, what would be your favorite?
Okay.
That's not an easy answer. I don't even know if I have an answer to that, honestly.
Do I have an answer? Ooh. Okay, well, Toy Story 3 is really what got me into like animation again, just really into Pixar. So maybe Toy Story 3. But I also just really love Inside Out. Something about that really got me. Like the whole idea where you can be like it's important to feel sadness and how that's a really big
Yeah.
emotion, not just to ignore it. I thought that was a really good lesson.
That's a really good message.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that. I definitely haven't seen that.
You do. We're watching it.
Oh.
I have it, so.
Oh, okay.
There
We'll
you
add that
go.
to the list. Speaking of Toy Story 3, we were just talking about that earlier, and we just looked up what year it came out, and it was 2010?
Yeah,
It
2010.
was and that's crazy. I can't believe that was 9 years ago already.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah. But that was a great movie.
It was very well done. It's very emotional. It has like a prison heist kind of feel to it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very, very, very well done.
And I like with the bad guy, the purple. What was he? A teddy bear?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
the little strawberry smelling teddy bear.
Yeah, him. He was an antagonist that actually had like a lot of character and depth to
Yeah.
him. Kind of almost like you feel sorry for him, which I really liked. 'Cause
Well,
I'm not a big fan of just it's a villain. He's
Yeah.
evil
Yeah.
just cause.
No,
So that
I
was nice.
completely agree. No, he's very. You feel for him, like you kind of want him to win in a weird way.
Yeah.
But also, they also really make you just kind of like despise him too, because he's doing all this awful stuff. He's trying to tear them apart. Yeah, very well done. And also, like the baby too, and that was terrifying. Do you
Yeah.
remember the baby?
Oh God, I don't know if I do. Maybe I erased it from my memory.
Well, there's
Oh no, I think I remember it.
yeah, yeah.
The baby doll.
Yeah, the baby
Yeah.
doll and how his head like churns like completely
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
okay.
He was terrifying, but I
Oh
love
my
him.
gosh. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've seen that, but
Yeah.
no, I'm starting to remember that now. But yeah, for a favorite for me, God, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. See, I'm not like I don't know what the difference of like what's a Disney one and then what's a Pixar one, so I
Oh,
might
that's
accidentally
fair.
choose a Disney one.
Yeah.
God. I'm probably just gonna go safely and say Monsters Inc. For that I know that's Pixar. Mm-hmm. But Finding Nemo's Pixar, right?
Yes.
Toy Story's Pixar.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd probably be between Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo, the
Those
first
are
one.
really good ones.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen the new one, the Finding Dory, is it called?
Yeah, it was okay in my opinion. Like I thought it was just very like, oh, okay, that was fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah.
It didn't, in my opinion, it didn't hit the same feels as Finding Nemo. But it is cool to see Dory again. I love her.
Yeah.
The other characters weren't in it as much. There's a new octopus character in
Really?
it. His name's Hank. He's really cool. I like him a lot. So that was a fun introduction.
Hank, huh?
Yeah.
Voiced by Tom Hanks. If only,
I
right?
wish.
If only, right?
I don't remember who he's voiced by. It was just kind of okay. It was just like it was fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, what about a Disney movie that you really like?
Oh, there's so many. There's just so many movies. Oh boy. I really love The Lion King.
Yep.
I feel like that's a typical answer for most people, but The Lion King is really good in my opinion.
I'm assuming you're talking about the first one, right?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah,
Just
no, that was really good.
so like there's so many like iconic things about it, just like from the music to the symbol to the characters, like they did so well. And it's very like it's dark too. Like there's a lot of dark moments, which I think really helped make it so good.
Yeah. And Scar is a very memorable
Oh, I
villain.
love Scar.
Like one of the best Disney
Oh, I
villains ever.
love him. His Be Prepared song, so good.
Oh yeah.
So good. I'm trying to think of other Disney movies though. Lion King's definitely one. Oh, I always loved Peter Pan. Just the capturing, like, just the whole, like, being a kid forever kind of thing. And going to this little area where you can't grow up.
Yeah, I never was big into Peter Pan myself, but I could see the appeal of it.
Yeah. It just felt very magical to me. Yeah. And it's an older one too, so it's always fun to watch. Like, just listen to the old music and everything and old animation.
I don't know, but this is reminding me of the live action show. Oh God, what's it called? Like it has like all like the Disney characters in it. You know what I'm talking about?
Once Upon a Time?
Once Upon a Time, yes. Have you seen that show?
I've seen the first two seasons, and I really
that's all
loved it.
I'm actually partway in the third one, but then I stopped watching it. But I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I really liked it too. Up to like, I think I started watching the third season. I couldn't get super into it, but that first season, in my opinion, is phenomenal. Like just bringing all those characters together, and like the little kid trying to tell his mom like, oh, this is real. Like this is fairy tale land. Like it's actually
Yeah.
happening. Like
That they're actually living in the real world.
yeah. And it's cool to see how they portray all the characters. Like Rumpelstiltskin is a very interesting character. I don't want to say too much, but
Yeah,
we
we
don't
won't spoil
spoil.
it, but no,
Yeah.
I really like Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
He's been a little bit of an inspiration for one of my characters in my own series that I'm writing right now.
oh, nice.
Aridin. So,
Yeah.
Because he's the schemer, super smart, just super cunning, but like such an interesting character too.
Lots of depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's my favorite character
Yeah.
by far too.
Yeah.
He's what kept me watching that show.
Me too. And like everyone's connected too, like I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Including him, like he's somehow connected to everyone, which I thought was kind of
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, connected to everyone and manipulating things. I won't say what or
Yeah.
how or anything like that. But,
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
But God, no, he's definitely a pinnacle of a great character. Since we're talking about like great characters, what are like some of your top characters ever?
Oh, that's a tough question. Oh boy.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna start with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man.
Oh, Iron Man's good.
Iron Man's my favorite, and probably spoiler alert if you haven't seen Avengers: Infinity War or Endgame. Okay, I'm giving you like 3, 2, 1. Okay. That just the death of Iron Man really like that actually made me really cry, but I thought it was like such a fitted end for his character.
No, I agree. Well, for me personally, like I've told you this, but I didn't like Iron Man at first. He used to be one of my like I saw the appeal, but he kind of always made me mad. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was kind of like a more hot-headed character. I was just like, oh, I can't stand this guy. But once Infinity War came out, and then especially once Endgame came out, I completely changed on that. I was like, okay, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude, and especially his death, I was like, oh no. Like I felt for him, like especially him with his child and him with Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
I felt the more human side to him, I guess, and I get it now, and I do like him a lot.
Yeah, he's got so much depth. But he's a very charismatic character too, and yeah, no, he's definitely a dick.
Yep.
He can definitely be a dick.
Yeah.
But usually it's in a good way. At least after Iron Man, the first Iron Man, when he becomes Iron Man. 'Cause beforehand he was just a dick, kind of lost in life. Not really having a sense of purpose, and then after the first Iron Man, he got a sense of purpose, and then his sense of purpose started in Avengers, the first Avengers, when he had got that vision of Thanos coming, and that's why like Iron Man and Thanos was kind of like the climax of both Infinity War and Endgame. Because I mean, also Iron Man was like arguably the main character of the whole MCU.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He started it off, and then he kind of ended it too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, and I remember as 'cause back when I was younger, I was like mainly DC. Like I'd watch the DC cartoons,
me too.
read some of the comic books. The only Marvel comic books I read was the Fantastic Four, and that's because I really like Doctor Doom. But anyway, I didn't really care for Iron Man. Like I knew of him, didn't really care for him until the movie. And when I went to see the movie with my parents, and then I just fell in love with the character instantly. Kind of reminded me of Captain Jack Sparrow too, because I absolutely love that character.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking like in the first like 3 Pirates of the Caribbeans. After that, no.
I haven't seen the fourth or fifth.
I haven't seen the 5th one, or actually no, I've seen half of the 5th one. But I just could not watch anymore. It bored me that much.
That's fair. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it just did not feel the same. Captain Jack Sparrow just was not the same. Because he's so good at, God, what's the word I'm thinking of? Improvising. Like, he's the master of improvising. Like, you think he has a plan for everything, but he doesn't. He's just so good at improvising. That's what adds to his character so much. But in the 5th one, it just is not. He doesn't have that improvising at all.
That's too bad.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
And the 4th one was not as bad, but it just felt a little weird. But no, the trilogy though was really good. I mean, I'll go out at controversial opinion, but the third movie's my favorite.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. See, okay. I've only really seen the first and bits and pieces of the second and the third, but I've heard people not liking the third, so that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I've heard people only liking the first one.
Yeah.
Our roommate here is very adamant that the first one's the best, which I can respect. But no, I enjoyed the hell out of the third movie. I enjoyed the second one too, but man, the third one, I just love it.
What's it about?
The third one?
Yeah.
It's just basically the conclusion with Davy Jones and the East Indian Trading Company, the British Empire and stuff, cracking down on pirates and stuff. And without giving too much detail away, it's basically our main characters rescue Jack, and then there's like constant backstabbing of everyone. Everyone's constantly backstabbing each other, and I really like it that everyone's like just has their own motives. Like everyone's not necessarily working. Like if they're working together, it's only because it works for both like our benefit, right? Not just like I have undying loyalty towards you. So like we're only going to work together until it doesn't help me anymore, and then I'm done, type thing. And I really enjoyed that aspect, and just the epic battles and stuff, and more characterization of Davy Jones, who's I think a really good villain too. No, I just really enjoyed it. It's the best description I can give without giving too much away. That's
fair.
something you have to watch.
That's something. There we go. Another one to the list.
Yeah, we got a lot.
We do.
But moving on. So, what are other characters?
I think one for me, I love Forrest Gump. I think he's a wonderful character.
That's a good choice.
It's what I love about him is even though maybe intellectually he isn't the smartest guy, he never did a dumb thing in his life. Like
True.
he always did stuff out of kindness and out of his heart, and just he's like, oh, this is the right thing to do. This is what I should do. Very, very simple. And by doing that, by being so simple and being so kind, he like impacted so many people's lives. Like even like Elvis Presley's life, just for a small moment.
I totally forgot he had a cameo in that.
Yeah. When he teaches him his famous move, his little wiggle That was
Oh
his
yeah,
little wiggle.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's just a really good lesson. Just do the right thing. Just keep moving forward. Just keep doing what you should, and then hopefully, good things will follow.
Do what you want to do,
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. He just he lived a really, I don't know, just a good life. He just really, and he had a lot of tragedy, like a lot of horrible things happened to him. But despite
Yeah.
that, he kept trying to do the right thing. Kept trying to be good, and just the simple Forrest Gump. So I really love that.
It's a very wholesome show.
Yeah.
God, I haven't seen that in forever either.
So it's a
But
wonderful movie. I think it's my favorite movie actually ever. Yeah.
really,
Yeah, I think
you're
it's my
gonna go say
top
that?
movie. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. If we're gonna go favorite movies here, well, without a question, mine would be Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And like, I can't even pinpoint one of the movies. I have to say the whole trilogy. Well, I guess if I had to choose one movie, it would be Return of the King. It'd be Return of the King, Fellowship, The Two Towers, but they're all 10 out of 10s. All three of them.
Nice. I mean, that makes sense to me. Behind me where I'm sitting, there's like 3 Lord of the Rings posters. So I believe that.
When I went to New Zealand last year, which was one of my biggest reasons why I wanted to go to New Zealand in the first place, is that's where the movies were filmed. I got some signed posters directly from the Weta workshop in New Zealand, and I actually shipped them back to Canada. Couldn't believe they actually shipped here in a week, but
That's crazy.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's 2 of them, and then I have my old movie poster here as well. But and that's another series you haven't seen.
I haven't seen, but I will be going tomorrow to our local movie theater to watch. I think some of them, maybe the first 2. I'm not sure. So I'll finally watch them because I've tried watching the first one. Oh, this is gonna sound so bad. I have fallen asleep while trying to watch them, but I think it will be good. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to hear the hype, see the hype.
Well, I mean, I could understand it like not like being too long for a lot of people. Because the movies are really long, especially the extended editions, which is like if you're not seeing the extended editions, then that's like a must watch. Because I can't, after watching the extended editions, I can't watch the regular now.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I know, I can understand they're really long for some people, so I'm not gonna hold a grudge, but your opinion's wrong.
I'm sure they're good. I'm gonna give it a chance tomorrow. I'm sure they're good. The idea to me really, I think is the whole magical fantasy aspect. Love that. So I'm sure we'll have a good time. It just, hopefully we don't fall asleep.
Well, I'd almost argue 3/4 of the first movie is just character development. So that could be a big reason why it's tough to get through that. Just because it's so much character development, but at the same time, just makes you really care about these characters.
Makes sense. Yeah, I feel like I need to get over that hump a little bit, and then I'll be able to get into it.
Yeah, and I mean, you're a big fan of fights and stuff.
Oh yeah, the
Well,
battles.
yeah,
Yes.
you can't beat Lord of the Rings battles. There's still some, I will argue this tooth and nail, there's still some of the best cinematic battles in any movie ever.
That makes sense. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
And what I really like about them too is, unlike a lot of modern fantasy, Lord of the Rings has it where it's whole armies are clashing, and every and then you can't have one super, you can have obviously there's gonna be some soldiers that are more skilled than others, but a super skilled soldier can't take on 20 guys just like that. It's realistic.
Okay,
To the point
that's
where
nice.
even the top contenders like Gandalf or Aragorn, for example, could have trouble with 3 orcs.
Oh wow. Because Gandalf's strong, right? He's
Yeah.
real strong.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
he's I mean, he has magic.
Yeah.
So, and then Aragorn's the best swordsman alive.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. But I mean, there are some ridiculous moments that they add in the movies that aren't really in the books. But yeah, it doesn't bother me that much. And just the epic battles, especially in the end, the second half of the second movie, and then the entire third movie is just epic battles, epic battles,
Oh,
epic
that's awesome.
battles.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. That would be fun to watch. That would
And
just
like
make your heart pumping.
they use like real medieval tactics. It's not just like
Oh.
they have like epic charges, but they make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have like a detour army that just charges at like this army from like their side flank, right? And it makes for an epic, like still you get that epic cinematic charge moment, but it makes tactical sense to
That's
do
cool.
that. And then you have like siege weapons and stuff in there too, and then of course mythical beasts like
Yeah, those are cool.
wyverns and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. God, I could geek out forever about Lord of the Rings and get completely sidetracked here. So let's go back to favorite characters.
Ooh, okay.
Another one I gotta say, and this one is like classic, and like probably on like most people's list. It's kind of lame probably for that reason, but Darth Vader,
Oh yeah.
hands down.
Oh, he's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's classic. He's
Just
just a
looks
big
so
scary
cool.
dude. Yeah, yeah.
But if we're also gonna go Star Wars, then I gotta go Obi-Wan as well. That'd be my other character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi is very cool.
Oh,
Huh.
he's awesome. He's like Ian McGregor's performance in the prequels is definitely one of the shining, the best things of the prequels, hands down.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I was just thinking about characters too. I really love Snape from Harry Potter.
Yep,
He's very cause
he's really good.
they really write him out to be like this black and white, just like this just kind of bad dude who just wants Harry's life to be miserable. But then you learn everything about him,
Yeah,
like with how he was in love with Harry's mom, and how he's just trying to protect Harry, and all that really gets me.
he is such a damn good character. And okay, this is coming from a Lord of the Rings fan. There's a classic Lord of the Rings versus Harry Potter as like the big fantasy, the two big fantasy series. Always are clashing with each other. And I mean, I never even watched Harry Potter until like I want to say like 3 years ago, give or take. It was when I first watched them. I've never read the books or anything. So then actually that's not true. I've seen some of them because my mom's a big Harry Potter fan, but I never watched like the whole series. I should clarify that. But then my now ex-girlfriend, she was a big fan of Harry Potter, so she forced me basically. Well, it was an agreement that we had.
Yeah.
She hasn't seen Lord of the Rings, so I made her watch Lord of the Rings. And
Oh, there you
in
go.
exchange, I'd watch Harry Potter.
Yep,
Anyways, so yeah, no, I watched Harry Potter and all that stuff, and no, I definitely absolutely loved the Snape twist, and definitely my favorite character in the movies. I haven't read the books, so I don't know what he's like in the books, but definitely in the movies, he's definitely my favorite character.
Yeah,
Because
he's
I actually never saw it coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I knew nothing about it going in.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, if you just recently watched them, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I did not pay any attention to that like fandom or anything, so I never got spoiled it. So I think I might have heard something about like something big with Snape at the end, but that's as much as I knew. But I think that was just a passing thing, and I just probably just forgot about it because it's just like a random thing I read on the internet or someone told me. And yeah, no, that was an awesome twist. I love when I know nothing going in, and all of a sudden like an actual good twist.
Yep.
Game of Thrones.
Oh no.
Yeah. Like an actual good twist that serves the plot really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was super beneficial to the entire story. And just what I love too was when this is a spoiler if you haven't seen Harry Potter, but at the very very end, we fast forward a few years, and Harry has a kid, and he names his kid Albus Severus Potter, so after Snape.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which
I
thought was
I
really
did not
cool.
know that.
Yeah, he named his kid after him, and despite everything, despite even, because Snape did put Harry through some hardship, but despite that, he was like, you know what, I really appreciate and love you, and my kid's gonna be named after you.
Now that he saw everything from his perspective.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was really wonderful and really cool.
So, I don't remember. How did Snape die?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question now. It's been a hot minute since I've seen or
I
read
actually
it.
don't remember how he died. And there's probably going to be some people watching this in the future that are going to be like screaming at me
Yeah,
right
oh,
now.
same.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
sound like a real
especially at
Harry
you.
Potter
You
fan.
yeah,
Yeah, if I don't
you're
remember.
you Harry Potter fan.
Wasn't it? Oh, wasn't like some Death Eater killed him or something? Oh no. Oh no, I don't remember.
Was it Voldemort?
I don't think it was Voldemort. I don't think it was. Was it Bellatrix? Maybe? Oh, I don't know. This is bad.
Should I look this up?
Yeah, look it up. I don't think it was Bellatrix either.
There we go. Top one. How did Voldemort?
Oh, sorry. I thought you asked how did Snape die?
Or sorry, I typed in Voldemort. I meant
Oh, got you.
my bad. Okay, let's try this
Let's see,
again.
let's see.
No, I don't want. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman too.
Oh, yeah.
Would be in this article.
Maybe? Let's see. This article says Snape did not die in the Battle of Hogwarts. Okay, interesting. Oh, did the snake? The snake killed Snape. I
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
think. Yeah, like
Okay.
Voldemort's snake.
I don't know what like yeah, because the snake was a holocron. What do you call it?
He was like she was like a Horcrux. I'm pretty sure.
Horcrux?
Yeah. What was her name? Like Nagini? Nagini? Something.
Something like that.
But yeah, it was the snake killed Snape, which sounds really funny because they sound very similar. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet you J.K. Rowling purposely did that.
I hope so. That'd be good. It'd be a funny coincidence if not, but right, it was the snake. Yeah.
I gotta give J.K. Rowling props. That was damn ingenious of how she handled Snape.
Well, also when he's like dying and like Harry's there for him while he dies, I think he says something where he's like, "You have your mother's eyes," which just gets to me because that's like
Yeah.
I think that's one of the last thing he says too before he takes his last breath.
Yeah, I legit cried there.
Yeah.
I legit cried too.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember
Me too.
that.
Me too. Oh, it was rough, but it was really well done. Like it had to happen, I think, which is sad, but it definitely added to the story.
Well, it's like the Tony Stark thing again. Just it was a fitted in for the character
Yeah, exactly.
instead of being corrupted by remakes or something and getting destroyed by that.
Yeah, just ended on a high note, I guess. Just remember
On
to
a
have a
very
good
high
memory.
note.
Yeah.
And again, rest in peace, Alan Kirkman.
Yeah, of course.
Great actor.
Very, very, very good actor.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Now back to other characters.
Yes.
So who have we talked about here? So Tony Stark, Iron Man, Captain Jack Sparrow,
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, then Snape, Darth Vader,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, classic. Shout out to prequel memes.
I really love Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill, and I really love the character.
I've never seen that.
It's very, very good. It's
Really?
it's a lot. Yeah. I don't wanna say the character's name fully because that would be a spoiler. But she goes by Kiddo, and she's got a lot going on. I'll just give a quick synopsis. Pretty much, so Kill Bill, her whole journey is to kill Bill. She's this guy.
Okay.
This guy murdered pretty much everything she loves. And she used to work with him, and she used to know him.
Right.
So she used to be an assassin. So once he kills everything she loves, she goes on a rampage. She kills all of his top spies, top assassins, in order to kill him. And it's a 2-part series, Volume 1, Volume 2, because when Tarantino made it, the first one was just too long.
Yeah.
So he had to
okay.
split
Okay.
it. And she's just this badass lady. She can speak a bunch of languages. She's incredibly strong. She's incredible with with a sword. Like she's crazy. She's
And well written.
well written. She's kind of insane. Like she's kind of mentally.
Hear that, Star Wars?
There we go. Yeah, no, she's kind of like mentally gone because she's just been through so much trauma.
Yeah.
But like the toughness in this lady after everything she's been through and be able to kind of push through it is just
Very
crazy.
inspiring.
Yeah, it's inspiring and also just like, oh, like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the whole movie is very mind blowing, very in classic Tarantino fashion, very violent.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But and it's a bunch of stuff for like weird cheesy tropes that shouldn't work, but somehow he makes them all work together. So I love that movie, and I just love the character for those reasons.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Interesting. I literally know like next to nothing about that show, so or series, whatever. Interesting. I'll have to add that to my list.
Yeah,
my
there we go.
huge list of
Another one.
stuff I need to watch. God, if we're gonna go with badass woman, I gotta go with and this is a guilty pleasure of mine, really. This anime called Fairy Tale.
Oh,
and yes, I am a big fan of it. And yes, I understand it's not the best quality, but I'm okay with it. But Urza Scarlet, which I have a rare collectible of her here too, and I think she's just. I think she's my favorite anime character, honestly.
Sure.
And probably one of the most badass women I've ever seen in not just anime, but any cinema. Mm-hmm. And definitely made me have a thing for redheads after that. I never did before. So
Nice.
I'll 100% admit that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but God, no, she's such a badass and just has such an interest in power with what's called like requip, where she just changes into different outfits and uses like swords and melee, like medieval weapons like that, axes and hatchets and lances, excuse me, and other stuff like that, which I find fascinating because if I had to choose a power, like a magical power, I'd probably actually choose something like that involved like swords or something, because I just have such a fascination with swords. And
Swords are very cool. I believe that. You have a lot of swords in this house.
it's true.
So.
I got a sword collection. I got like 8 swords. Okay, I got a katana. I got Aragorn's sword and wheel. I got Ice from Game of Thrones. I got 2 Excaliburs. I got a Knight Templar sword. I got a broadsword, and then I think 7. Then I got daggers and bayonets and other knives in my collection too. I want to get the next thing I really want to get is a crossbow. I'm like adamant about that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I also want a longbow, but definitely I really want a crossbow. I think crossbows are such a cool weapon.
That would be
in my
very
opinion.
cool. Where would you like hang in the house then? Like where would you have it?
Yeah, I'd hang it on the wall.
Nice.
Pick it up every once in a while, buy some watermelons and shoot it.
Just
That would be
shoot in
fun.
the backyard.
Yeah, just shoot them in the backyard. You don't have to worry about scaring people because, it's a crossbow. It's not like a gun where it's loud, so
That's true.
I can just do that in the backyard.
Unless somebody's just walking by and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
I would be down for that. It would be a watermelon shooting party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be sick.
I would love that.
God, I always want to do that. Just, buy some watermelons and
Yeah.
watch them explode while I shoot them.
We could like shoot in slow-mo too and like post a video and everything.
Yep.
So just like see it explode slowly.
One day, my future self, I will do that.
Yes.
I will have that crossbow and I will do that.
There we go. Put some epic music in there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lord of the Rings music.
There you go.
Great
Perfect.
soundtrack as well.
Perfect.
Any other favorite characters? Keep getting sidetracked here, but
Okay, this is a very simple one, but I just love him. Doug from Up. He's just a golden retriever dog who just acts like a dog. He's just wholesome. He just wants to be loved. He just wants pets. And yeah, and he wants food. And he likes squirrels. Well, he doesn't like squirrels. He wants to catch all the squirrels.
you'd really put him like one of your favorite characters of all time.
Yeah, because he's just a wholesome dog. He's just like this goofy guy.
Okay, like I love dogs too, but like you put him up there with like really well developed characters that have like a lot of like backstory and a lot of work with them.
Yeah.
compared to just as it's
Yeah.
not simple, but like a lot
No, it's
easier to
pretty
ride in a
simple.
dog.
Yeah, I would. I just
All right,
love
fair
him.
enough.
He's got a soft spot in my heart. He's just a dog living his best dog life. And
That's
I think that's
fair.
great. And he's animated very well. He's just this big, chunky golden retriever. And I
Yeah,
love
that's
him.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, I wouldn't. I mean myself, I wouldn't put him as my top favorite.
That's fair. I see. I can see that, yeah.
Okay, going back to favorite characters, I gotta choose some from Lord of the Rings, and I really got three, and I can't talk much about them because you haven't seen them yet. But that'd be Gandalf, Aragorn, and Sam. Definitely my three favorites.
Those make sense. The little bits I know of them, that makes sense to me. They sound
Yeah.
very cool.
Well, I think everyone knows the classic Gandalf meme. You shall not pass.
Yes. Yes. I used to do that with a broom at my old job all the time.
How
We were
dare
doing
you do
stuff.
that without seeing it?
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Oh, at least you're gonna be seeing it tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. We're good.
I'm super jealous about that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I've actually always wanted to, like, for one of my birthdays, just to, like, rent out a movie theater and just watch Lord of the Rings Extended Edition
Yeah.
the whole day. That's it.
That would be so cool. That'd be probably very expensive, but
Yeah, it would be
Fun.
cheap when I got more money.
yeah, there we go. There we go. We become a millionaire.
Note my future self again.
There. Perfect.
Crossbow and rent a movie theater and watch Lord of the Rings Extended Edition.
There we go. What a good future. What a good time.
Since we're like already talking about fantasy and stuff like that, I want to go into the creative aspect of like Dungeons and Dragons and what you think of it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I know you don't have like, so M doesn't have a lot of experience with Dungeons and Dragons yet, but based on the little that you've done and the stuff that you know, what are your overall thoughts on Dungeons and Dragons to you?
Well, so far I love the idea of it where it's just, a bunch of friends or even strangers just come together and, either do like a pre-made story and just see what happens, or, the DM makes their own story.
Yeah.
So it's really like, it just captures your imagination where like anything can happen. Literally anything can happen.
Yep.
So I just always loved the concept. And then when I still lived in Grand Prairie, I worked at Cards Board Game Cafe. Shout out to them. And it was a very, it was a very like fun, nerdy kind of place to hang out where people were playing Dungeons and Dragons all the time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a daily thing. So I kind of was able to like see how it worked, to see how into it people get, how everyone starts yelling. When someone dies, people actually start crying, and just how it's this really, really big thing, and just brings so many wonderful people together, and people make friendships through it. And I just thought that was super cool. So once I moved here, I finally started to get into it. I did pretty much my first campaign recently with a few friends, and I was nervous, not gonna lie. I was a little skittish, a little shy, but overall it was incredibly fun. Our DM was wonderful. He completely made up a one shot, and he just captured my imagination. So my first campaign was a lot of fun. Our DM Brandon, he added like music to it, and he just had a whole like playlist laid out, and the planning was spectacular, and he also made a map for us too. So just to see someone be so passionate about it and so into it got me more into it, got me more passionate about it.
Yeah.
And also just making your own character is super fun.
It is really fun.
Like I had just a little tiny lizard boy who was just always angry all the time. He was also like a pirate or something, like something
Yeah.
ridiculous like that, but it was fun to play him because he was just like this little just angry little man that couldn't do much because he was so small, but he would try really hard.
Yeah, like my favorite character that I've played so far is my lawful good ranger minotaur
Oh,
for our friend Big Ethan's one shot he did. Oh god, that was such a fun character to play because like minotaur is like the last type of creature you'd expect to be lawful good.
literally,
Period.
yeah.
And then also to be ranger because classic they're with axe fighters, so they're more like a barbarian or like a fighter. But a ranger, with like bow and arrow and stuff, don't really see that much. So that's the whole purpose I made that character. And God, he was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to bringing him to more sessions.
Oh,
But
totally.
then no, Brandon's really good too. We had a campaign we were doing last year and some of this year too. But then like it kind of like fell out just because everyone got busy with life. But that was a really fun campaign, and props to Brandon for doing all that work. And he's a really good storyteller, and just the passion he put in and stuff. And I really enjoyed that. And it really inspired me to. I've been working on my own world. So it's a funny story with my world. So I started creating this world for my own DM campaign that I wanted to do. And I just put more and more detail into it to the point where like I'm like, you know what, I could take this to the next level. But yeah, no, Dungeons and Dragons is such an awesome experience. Regretfully, I used to be one of those that thought it was just this dumb nerdy thing. And I hate myself for thinking that. But once when one of my friends in Grand Prairie, Tyler, he exposed me to Dungeons and Dragons, and I just fell in love with it because I've always been such a storyteller in my own head, being an only child as well. So like it was like a big thing I did to entertain myself was I could create these vast stories, or like I could watch like Star Wars and be like, okay, I could write a whole side plot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On my own, no problem,
Yeah.
just instantly, and like I could always do stuff like that. I love the process of being a DM too, where like, just planning out the world and just wanting to know what your players are going to do, and then they're going to do the totally opposite thing of what you planned, and then you just got to fucking wing this other thing.
Yep.
Because you did not plan any of this. But there's just something that's so much fun about that. And then also the player aspect of just creating your character and just get into role play. I love role playing.
So fun.
I'm the kind of person that I like to role play my character even when they make dumb decisions. Because in my mind, I'm like, how would they know this? Because I can look at it from an outside perspective, but I don't like doing that. I like to roleplay in my character and make even dumb decisions, even if they make no sense.
Yeah. And even if it makes, it sacrifices the team a little bit. But you're just like, well, this is what they would do. Like,
exactly.
I'm sorry. Like, it's just what would happen.
Exactly. So I love doing that. And I love it when my other fellow players do that too. Like Big Ethan, he's really good at that. Brandon's really good at that too. It's just so much fun.
It's so much fun.
And I'm really looking forward to that with our campaign.
Yeah.
I really want you guys to bring out the role play and.
Oh yes, of course. Yes. Well, that's the wonderful thing about it is that while you're role playing, even if your character is like the complete opposite of you, you do find aspects of yourself you didn't know you had before.
Yeah.
And it does kind of help you grow as a person because you get more comfy with like certain things. You're like, oh, I didn't know I could think like this, or I didn't know I could do this. Like, and it's just you learn more about yourself. I think that's really fun and wonderful, and even just the people around you too. You learn more about.
Exactly. Well, I mean, and like with Dungeons and Dragons too, the more characters you make, the more different from your actual personality they are. Like my very first character was how I would really envision myself as in that times. If I was like a hero or anything, like I'd be a human paladin, etc. But as I made more and more characters, like I said, just more different to the point where I made the Minotaur. That's
love him.
Quite different, but he was awesome. That was a really fun campaign or one shot. But yeah, and it's also like Dungeons and Dragons is just so good for socializing aspect where like it really helps with people with anxiety and with social anxiety and stuff. Because it brings out social skills. You get more perceptive as a DM especially, but like players have this too. You got to really get good at improvising.
Oh yeah, huge.
Which is the big thing because. Even like a DM, you can like even if you do all the planning in the world, like your players are still going to do unpredictable things, or they're going to talk to this mushroom for 10 minutes, and you're going to be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah, so but it's what makes Dungeons and Dragons so good. So like as a person that's a writer, like storyteller. In that aspect, I always got to remember to not plan too much in a campaign. So that's why I've been working on the world building and just the backstories of all these characters that you don't necessarily need to hear, but it's good for me as the DM to know this, right?
Just have that basis.
Yeah, exactly. And then we could delve more into like backstories of characters that you'd like. And then, of course, backstories of your own characters as well, which I'm looking forward to doing that.
I'm so excited.
But yeah, just, and I'm so happy that it's gone as popular as it is now and still growing. Like everyone I know now is like wanting to get into D&D or is in D&D, which was like unheard of when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's awesome to see because it's in our like technology world when everyone's busy watching YouTube or Netflix or playing video games or stuff like that. It's so good to meet up with people and just play Dungeons and Dragons, even whether it's online or I think in person's the best, but online's still pretty good. But yeah, it's just really good for that stuff.
I think it just really helps people because what I noticed when I worked at the board game cafe is my one coworker, she would host a campaign like I think every Wednesday or every Tuesday, something like that. And what she did is she hosted it for like tween and teens, so I think it was like 12 to 16. And it was a bunch of kids who did not know each other at all. And a lot of them like definitely you could tell like had some like just like severe social anxiety and just were very, very shy to even be there or even just be in the cafe.
Yeah.
And just be around people. But like slowly as like the weeks would go on, these kids would just blossom. Like you would see their personalities come out and see them become more confident and more comfortable. And like I don't think some of them just didn't have any friends, and now they have this whole friend group.
Yep.
And it was like I just remember it was either Tuesday or Wednesday, but whenever that day was, it was always my favorite day.
Yeah.
So I would just see the progression of these kids and how much happier they're getting and how much more of themselves they're becoming. And that was something I just always loved about D&D.
And yeah, Dungeons and Dragons is so good for that. Like it really helped me embrace my passion of creativity and world building and storytelling and stuff. And like it also helped me with improvising and socializing and
huge.
body language.
Oh yeah, it helps you read people a lot more now. So when you go out, just like I don't know, grocery shopping and stuff, you can get a better idea of like what's around you.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, it helps with. God, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I talk about though. Look in your surroundings. You're really good at seeing your surroundings. God, I can't think of the word right
Perception?
now. Perception. Yeah. Perception check. I had to think of that,
gotcha.
but I kept thinking roll initiative, and I'm like, that's combat. But anyway, no, it really does help with that, and yeah, just gaining confidence, and it also just fills that social need as humans have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which then, that also helps with depression and anxiety and other issues.
Yeah, it really gets you out of your comfort zone, which I think is huge. Because for me, again, my first time going in, I was so shy and I was so nervous. But just slowly with time, I was like, oh, this is fun because it's the imagination part of it and the creativity part of it, which I love.
Yeah.
So just slowly that part came out of me more, and I was like, okay, yeah, we're good now.
And yeah, as a fellow person that's like super creative too, you don't have to worry about hiding that or controlling that aspect. Right?
That's huge.
So you just bring out your whole creativity. Like I remember in our campaign with Brandon, he was always I could tell by his like facial reaction. He was always so shocked about how in depth I would go with my character. Like I planned out my whole like backstory. I got like really into my character, planning out everything of their personality, and I think he really liked that.
Yeah.
And as a DM, I would really like players like that too, and I think they really add to the experience of just having those players just get super into it.
It makes it feel more real.
Yeah,
yeah.
too.
It's like, oh, this is a real thing we're doing. Okay, I see. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Like it's, God, words can't describe how fun it is.
It's a good time.
So if you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, I couldn't recommend it more.
Agreed. Again, I've only done it like once, but I thought it was great. So.
I've only been doing it the last 2 years, but yeah, no, it's really reshaped my life.
And again, just seeing what it did for people. Like, again, at my cafe every day, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is something special for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into it.
for what you want to do when you're older, you want to do something more on the creative side, right? Or
That's the big question right now. I mean, I will always want to be doing something creative, whether it is my full-on career or just a hobby.
yeah,
I'm in that weird zone where I'm not sure if I fully want to pursue that as a job, right? Because my big fear is because I love writing, I love editing, I just any storytelling I love. But my big fear is I did that as a full-on career, like the magic of it would kind of go away.
yeah,
And making stuff for other people, then I feel like I feel like the magic would just kind of be gone. So I don't know if I want a career in that. When I was younger,
that's a good point.
when I was younger, I super duper wanted to become a CGI animator, like for Pixar. That was like,
Yep.
which makes sense because Pixar, I love Pixar.
Yeah.
And then I did some CGI stuff, not a lot, just like in the program Blender and everything, which is a good program.
I'm learning that right now.
It's very fun. But I just, again, like there wasn't the spark that I felt like I needed,
Yeah.
to be like, oh, this is what I want my full-time career to be. And then there was a point too, I was like, oh, what became like a script writer for animation and stuff. And like, I've written scripts before, and again, I enjoy it, but I'm just like, I can't picture myself doing that forever.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to.
Yeah.
It could just be a step,
That's true.
and then you pursue something else.
That's, that's very true. It's just like it's like kind of like the unknown. Like also, I was like, oh, what if I just became like a general like film director or something like that. But then I'm just like, and I enjoy making stuff, but it just again when I'm making the stuff, it doesn't feel like the spark I need, like what I'm meant to do, kind of thing. It doesn't feel like that yet. So
Well,
I have been looking into like more like, oh, maybe like if I went to more international affairs or something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you got lots of time. Like, I didn't figure out what I wanted to do until I was 22.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
like almost pretty much when I was almost 23, actually. It's like only a few weeks before I turned
Yeah,
20.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just finally realized I had that spark, that moment where I like realized what I'm meant to do, what I feel like my soul is meant to do. And it's a harder path. It's a path less traveled by, but I know it's the right thing for me to do.
Yeah, and that's amazing. That
Yeah.
makes me so happy for you. Like, I remember when he figured out what he wanted to do, he came home like from a walk, and we were just talking about it, and like, I could just tell you seem so like lifted, and you just seem lighter and happier. And I remember just like my heart was doing a thing. Like I just felt so happy for you, and like even now thinking about it, I'm getting like a little teary eyed because it's
Oh,
really cool
well,
to
thanks.
see. Yeah.
It was the answer I've been searching for my whole life, really. Because I was like, I kind of want to be a police officer. I kind of want to be in the military. Obviously, I can't because I'm type 1 diabetic. Then, like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an entrepreneur. Like, I had all these, like, different ideas. But entrepreneur was one that was continuing staying, but I just didn't know what specifically an entrepreneur I wanted to do. Because like as an entrepreneur, you need like kind of an idea, put into practice, then like bring it out to the public. I just didn't have that real idea or like thing of to push me that way, and so I just went to school and all that like everyone else
yeah.
basically, because I just didn't want to disappoint anyone. Yeah, then that day I just decided to go for a walk because I definitely noticed that my like depression really started hitting me once when school started, and just school I always struggled so hard doing it, just didn't feel right for me, and I decided to go for a walk that day, just just thinking about why do I feel like this, because this is my fourth attempt at going to school with a different thing, and I'm like, by my fourth attempt and it's still not working, I really need to take a step back and think about where my life's going. And yeah, and then I just went to this location where we live here that just looks across towards actually the university here, and I just sat there for like a good 20 minutes, and I remember like walking there, it was like overcast, it was cloudy, it was kind of dark, the clouds, and then I kid you not, it sounds ridiculous, but like the moment I had this idea, it just seemed like the sun just started bursting through the clouds. And when I walked back, the sun was constantly like behind me, trailing me as I like was facing the dark clouds. It was like symbolic or something. And yeah, like I really felt like I had a spark lit in my eye, and I knew what I needed to do. And yeah, then I came home and what Em said, but then that didn't happen to me until I was almost 23. And other people, it takes longer than that. There's no rush. I think everyone's exactly where they need to be.
Oh yeah, and I feel that too. I mean, despite kind of being a question mark right now when it comes to future, like I do feel really content where I am right now. I do really feel content with what I'm doing, which is just figuring out who I am and what I want.
Yeah.
Because the closest thing I have come to like feeling like that spark was when I used to work at Starbucks, and I used to do drive-through all the time. That was my thing because I was good with people. I could really talk to people. I remember I loved just hearing people's stories every day and connecting with them. I remember there was this one lady, I'm like, oh, how are you today? Like, just classic, just kind of small talk. And she was like, you know what? Not good. And she was just totally honest with me, and she just started crying. And I was like, okay. So then we just had, even drive-through was, it's fast, but despite that, we still had a really good talk.
Yeah.
And it really felt like, I was able to help her in some way, even if it's just like a little coffee and just something.
Yeah.
And just stuff like that. I was like, oh, like I just remember always thinking, coming home, be like, okay, I'm meant to do something with people. Like I know that's for sure. Because I just felt so alive, like the most alive.
That's a gift, getting people to actually open up like that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Because everyone says they're fine or I'm good.
Yeah.
Even 90% of the time they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
And then to get people to actually, especially a stranger, no less, to actually admit that they're not is, it's something most people can't do.
Well, it's great. I appreciate that lady's like bravery and honesty and just openness. I was just like, wow, it was a big, kind of like just a big moment in my life where I was like, okay, yeah, this is something. And even then, like, I would have some customers that would come in every day just because we got along super well. There was one girl, she had the same color hair as me. I have like a strawberry blonde. It's just different looking. But so her and I both had never seen someone with the same hair color as us. And she always called me her sister. So we were sisters. And she started coming in after that. She was never regular before. Just little things like that, just really meeting new people, learning stories. Like I remember I had one regular, he opened up about his life and how he got to where he was and how he had the successful career and everything like that. I was like, oh, whoa, this is wonderful and I love this so much. Like, this is what I want with my life. But I'm like, what career is that? I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Something with traveling.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I would love to.
Like last podcast when me and Levi were talking about traveling, that's something we both really enjoyed about traveling is like, what you just described, like meeting new people and hearing like their perspectives and their stories and stuff is like, it's one of the best things about traveling. And if you can somehow have a job that lets you travel and meet new people and stuff like that, that would suit you so well.
Well, that's why I was thinking like maybe something international relations would be good for me because, I could maybe go to other countries and and just learn new stories and everything. Yeah. And I think I would love that, but just don't know exactly what that looks like right now.
Well, you got lots of time, no rush. The best thing to find yourself is just keep getting out of your comfort zone and working on yourself.
Exactly. I have to remind myself, I'm like, I'm only 19. Like, to me, it feels like the clock's ticking when I know it's not. Like, I know I'm a baby still, but
probably doesn't help when like everyone you talk to, like your friend group, everything is all older than you. Like they're 22 years old, 23,
That's
24.
True. That's true. All my friends are at least 3 years older than me, pretty much.
Which, like, even when you're like 22, 23, or 24, that's still really young.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I got life figured out or anything like that. I'm not even close. But we got a little more experience like that, and a lot of people in our friend group are just graduating from their degrees and stuff like that. So and I've felt the same thing where like you feel like far behind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But no, yeah, you're only 19. Like, geez.
Well, it's the funny thing where it's just like, well, no, for you and I, we're not really going the typical path, like where we didn't go to, well, not doing university or college.
Yeah,
And that's interesting to see, yeah, all your friends getting like the degrees and they're loving it, and that's wonderful. But just maybe university is something for me in the future. But I'm like, I know right now it's not a good choice. I know that wouldn't be where I'm meant to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, but that's one problem with our like education system is it's inclined in our brain since elementary school. It's like, okay, after high school, then you got to go to university, college, get your degree, then you get your job. But that's not quite how life works for a lot of people. Great if it does.
Oh yeah, totally.
And if that's like honestly what you want to do, if you honestly want to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer, something like that, that's
Super cool.
great.
Yeah.
But for people like me, that yeah, or like we just didn't know what we wanted to do, it's not the best thing.
You just feel this pressure. You're just like, why aren't I fitting the mold? Like, why aren't this is what I'm supposed to do, right? So when you
Yeah.
don't, when you don't follow it, there is a part of you that can kind of feel like a failure, even though it's not at all, not in any case at all.
Always.
But yeah, when you're just not doing what everyone else is doing, you're just like, is this right? Is this okay? Like, I don't know, because there's no
Yeah.
map really.
The first like really like give it 30 days after I had my moment of realization of what I wanted to do were great. I'd say highly, like some of the most productive I've ever been. I was
Oh, yeah.
I was probably putting like 12 hours a day
You were
into
doing
what I
a
want to do.
lot. Yeah.
Into like my business plan, creative projects,
Yeah.
learning programming, everything like that. It was crazy. But then really after that, like just anxiety and like the fear of having the unknown path started to creep up on me and stuff. And that's just kind of what I've been dealing with right now. And I think it's critical that mental health is learned more in school. Because most of the stuff I've learned about mental health was on my own, doing my own research.
Yeah, me too.
Like I am honestly in the boat where I think making like instead of having phys ed, you have mental health class, which exercise is a part of it. Because exercise is one of the best things you can do for your mental health. That and like meditation are like undisputed best things you could do for mental health. Period.
Totally, yeah.
No matter what kind of mental health issue you have. For, like at least like it's better now. But like when I was growing up, like phys ed and all that stuff was about like if you wanted to get fit or like anything like that. And if you're not seeing yourself as being like into sports and stuff like that, it's incredibly hard to keep staying fit, which is I think a big problem. One of the big problems right now, the mental health crisis that we're in. But then like lately with phys ed or like exercise, going to the gym and stuff, they've kind of rebranded it to helping mental health more.
Yeah, I have noticed that. Yeah.
And that's I think really started in the last like 2 years, I want to say, is when I really started noticing it. And I think that's a much better approach because it's something everyone can relate on.
Oh, exactly. We all go through struggles and we all want to improve ourselves. And sometimes, it's always good to improve your body, but just sometimes you really got to help your brain. And exercise is a good way of doing that. It does both.
Well, what I've learned is how you stick to good habits is your approach to them. So if you say, I want to lose weight and become healthy, you're not going to stick to it if you say something like that. If you have like a specific motivation or reason why you're doing it, then you will stick to it. So, hypothetically, let's say that this guy is attracted to this girl and wants to look the best for her to impress her or whatever. That guy is more likely gonna go to the gym and actually stay going to the gym.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the biggest thing you need.
Like
It's
an
just
outside motivator?
not necessarily an outside motivator, but like just I guess like an outside motivator. It doesn't have to be someone else. So yeah, I guess an outside motivator is the best way I could think of. Just something you could personally connect to and actually like relate to, I guess. Because yeah, like and like being specific is an important thing. So yeah, if like I want to be in shape for the like to look the best for this girl, get this girl, like yeah, you're more likely to actually go to the gym and stay going fit. But then obviously, like once when you if he gets the girl, I mean highly recommend changing it because if you broke up or something, they'd probably like the guy would probably more likely to not go back to old habits if he didn't change his mindset and have a different motivation of like, I want to stay like this because I know how happy I feel like this. Like how I'm being so consistent with my meditation now is I always take about like a minute after my meditation to reflect on how calm and peaceful and overall good I feel after it. And I always remember that. And that's my motivation of doing that. I'd be like, remember how good you felt after you did that meditation? So
that's huge. Yeah.
Do that again today.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying do that again every day. I'm saying do that again today.
Yeah.
And then the next day I say the same thing. I'm going to do that again today.
Okay.
And that's how you keep going. You don't look at it the grand scope of things, which was always my biggest issue. Just looking at it way too big. You got to take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
What can I do today to make today better than yesterday?
Yeah. Just one small step.
Yep.
That's super important. Yeah.
And that's also why most people don't stick to New Year's resolutions, because they're not specific enough, or they don't have the actual reason to do it.
Or you're just looking at the entire year for their new goal instead of maybe
they're looking at it too big, and then they just burn themselves out because they go from 0 to 100.
Yep.
And you can't do that.
I've definitely been guilty of doing that, just going straight 0 to 100, be like, oh, I'm going to do this complete life change right now.
Oh, I still do that sometimes. If I'm honest, I can be hypocritical, but I'm definitely a lot better now overall.
Just becoming more aware too of yourself, being like, okay, maybe even though I'm saying these things, maybe I should actually, put them more into action, maybe actually try them out more.
Yeah.
Just being aware of yourself and your past self too.
Exactly. And like what works for you is not going to be what works for me as well. So I can tell you to do this, and do this, but you got to experiment on your own and find your own creative solutions, which is one thing I absolutely love, going back into creativity, is just learning about the creative solutions people find out.
Oh, yeah.
Like I learned from this one YouTuber that I watched, what he likes to do is, so he puts his phone and uses it as an alarm on the other side of his room. So when the phone goes off, he has to like bend down anyway. So he forces himself to do some push-ups.
Oh.
Doing that every day.
That's smart.
And I've implemented in my own life just to see how it works for me and seeing if it does work for me. And so far it's been okay, but I'm only a few days in it. So we'll see. Put in your own creative solution to what something else says too. Like the meditation thing, like how I approach meditation might not work best for you. Meditation is going to help everyone no matter who you are. You just need that different approach or creative solution to get that, and change your environment to make it easier to do that as well is the big thing.
Oh yeah, well, just like a simple thing, like maybe for me it works better to do meditation at night, and maybe for you it works better to do in the morning. Just little things like that. Like everyone's going to be different. Even with your push-up thing, maybe you're going to find something else to do for that. Like maybe you're going to find something that works better for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know how we got here.
We just got into deep convo.
We just went on total deep end.
You asked me about my future, and I was like, well, here's everything I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Oh, God. What I like about the podcast here, too, is that we can look back at it like a year from now. So say by the time we're filming this, November 30th, 2020. And I could look at this a year ago and be like, man, how far I've come since then.
Yeah, how much we've grown.
It's nice to reflect on that, because I don't know where I could be in a year from now. I could still be here.
Yeah, same.
I could be in a totally different place. But I can always look back on these podcasts and cherish the memories I have with people. Because, in life, people, go their own ways. Sometimes you lose connection because, like I go all the way here and someone else goes all the way here. But that doesn't mean you can't still cherish that time you had with that person.
Totally.
It's just your arc, so to speak, with that person has ended.
Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, it can feel sad, but it's just, you're thankful for what that person taught you and what you guys did together, and then you can just continue
Yeah.
to do your own thing. You'll always remember that person.
And that even goes with negative interactions too.
Oh, totally.
Even if they treated you like crap, like they like you could be like, well, I don't want to be like them.
Yep. Yep.
Or it can help you just realize your own faults too.
Yeah. Oh no, for me, I've had some stuff happen, and they were pretty, like most people would say bad. But for me, how I've been trying to look at it, would be like it was hard. There's nothing easy about what happened to me. But I am incredibly grateful. I am incredibly grateful because if it wasn't for all the stuff that happened to me, I wouldn't have moved. I wouldn't have met you.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be living on my own. And I can truly say I'm like the happiest I've been probably since I was a kid. Like I feel very like myself. We don't know exactly what we want, but we know, like I know who I am kind of thing. And the people who I had a hard time with, or the events that I had a hard time with, really brought me to this place, and I'm just grateful for that. And just little things too, like just sometimes being around unhealthy people. I know signs of other unhealthy people, being like, hey, we're not going to put ourselves in the same situation because we know the signs and the red flags.
Yeah.
And oh God, I'm so grateful for that, because I think I'm sure I'm still going to get in some tough situations, but that's going to help me avoid maybe some really bad ones again. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and you learn more about yourself through the hardships and failures, so to speak, than in your successes.
Oh, huge. Like for me, there was a period in my life where it was just a lot of hate and anger all the time.
Yep.
And after it kind of...
Which I can't even picture now.
Yeah.
I can't picture that at all.
It was bad. It was pretty bad. But once that ended, it was just like, oh, like I really love myself now, and I know what that feels like. And even when I'm having a bad day now, everything can be going wrong a day, like I'm really sick or anxious or something, like I still feel this joy within me, and I know that's my base. And I know that's always there despite everything going wrong. And I'm just like, oh, we're fine. Despite everything, we're fine. And so I always have that like calmness now, which I'm really grateful for. And it took all that hate, all that anger to get to where I am right now.
Yeah. And it just makes you appreciate what you have more too.
Oh, huge. Just like a normal, like I won't get into it, but what stuff that happened to me was every day was kind of an adventure, like not a great one. But now having like a fairly normal life with not a ton happening, but just like, nice normal everyday things. It's just like, oh, this is great. This is wonderful. Like just hanging out with friends, just having a job, just doing chill things. Like I'm like, oh, I am so grateful. And just for my parents too, everything we went through together. I'm just like, wow, you guys are amazing. And my friends who stuck by with me throughout everything too, it's just like, oh, I'm like the luckiest person ever. Like,
that's when you realize who your true friends and family are.
Oh, exactly. Huge.
Through your low moments in life is when life teaches you stuff you can't learn otherwise. Like, I could be talking about this, you'd be like, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense, but for you actually, like, for a person to actually learn it, they have to experience it themselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. And that's what I learned.
Yeah.
You really gotta really go through it to figure it out.
Like, I don't think we've talked much about this yet, and I just want to get your quick. We're kind of running out of time, but this will be the last question I'll ask you, just because I'm genuinely interested in. Because my genuine opinion on nowadays is I think our like parents and education system and stuff, and I'm being very general here, are being too easy on us, if that makes sense. So like some schools are giving everyone a medal in like in participation events or races and stuff, and I don't think it's good. And I get it where people are coming from, where like they don't want their loved ones to go through the hardships, which absolutely suck. But at the same time, I think they're important as well. And I mean like hardships like to a scale. Like obviously don't go from like you have everything to you just absolutely just lost everything and you're just destroyed. Which is happening a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when like our generation, millennials, Gen Z and all that stuff are becoming adults and getting into the workforce and then because it inevitably happens to everyone. That moment where you just lose everything in your life that you ever cared about. And going from that, like obviously like you wouldn't have that experience before, but if you had like hardships before that you can like relate to, it won't be as traumatizing, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a ton of sense.
If I'm explaining myself correctly.
No, I got you. I got you. I think the big issue is we're associating love and nice as the same thing. I think we're being too nice to people by being too polite, being too easygoing. Be like, oh yeah, here's a medal for you and you and you and you, and like we're all great, even if someone maybe honestly didn't deserve it and they actually were very lazy, didn't work for it. I think we need to show people more actual love, and love, I think, in my opinion, love can be tough. Love isn't always nice. Love is actually giving what that person deserves, but you can still be caring about it and thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily nice. Maybe you have to be a little tough. Maybe a tad mean, but that doesn't mean you're hurting the person because you're really trying to help them out.
Yeah.
And sometimes helping out means, just showing the reality of it.
That makes me. I think of One Republic.
Yes.
The band.
Yes.
They have this song called. Now I can't think of it. I Lived. That's what it's called. And they have like a great quote, and I don't know if I'm saying it exactly right, but like I hope you don't suffer, but you take the pain.
Yeah.
Is so true.
Yeah, I think that's a good line.
Because no, I don't. Of course, I don't want other people to suffer, but I think experiencing the pain is important for everyone. The pain of failure, the pain of losing this or that, but not to the point of suffering. Because then the suffering is when like the severe depression creeps up on you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like you said, like the tough love is incredibly important.
Oh, it's huge
for everyone.
And I think it's also important, we as a society, if we try more to teach kids growing up, like a foundation so when all these awful stuff happen, a foundation of like who they are and how to love themselves. So when something bad happens, they go through it, they move through it, but they don't, go through a toxic path instead. They don't maybe fall into drugs or alcohol or something like that. They learn who they are because, society and people around them taught them who they were. So even if they go through the hard time, they don't have to be destroyed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. It's something that I think we need to bring back because honestly, life's gone too easy at this point, and a lot of us kids are just too naive and too unexperienced, or not unexperienced, not the right word, but I guess the only word I could think of was like protected and all that from the hardships of life. When like I obviously I'm not saying to like just make everyone like
go through the worst.
Yeah, go through the worst things possible, but like don't like have them avoid it completely either. Because it's the hard truth of life that everyone goes through hardships.
Yeah.
And if you haven't yet, you will.
Yeah. It's gonna happen. It's gonna suck, but you're gonna hopefully come out of it better. No, I think that's the thing. We just need to. Oh, geez, like awful stuff can happen to people, and it's awful. But if we're there to help each other out through the pain, through everything, make people feel less alone, like, through social media, being like, oh, I have anxiety too, or I have depression too, little things like that, then we can hopefully, work through it together. Because something bad is going to happen no matter what. It just is.
Yep.
But if we, again, help people build that foundation that, oh, they're not alone, oh, they can get help, they can go to this foundation or this foundation, do this and this and this, then hopefully the outcome can be better than maybe something, awful happening.
Which ties into what I think is my ultimate life purpose of, like, helping people, in the sense that instead of accusing these people of this or spreading more hate, taking the time, and as hard as it is, listening to that other person.
Yeah.
And yeah, just listening, because every person alive, I don't care what kind of personality type you are, how introverted you are, and all that stuff. Every person alive wants to be heard by someone. And I think it's important to keep spreading that. And I think that's the most important thing to combat the mental health crisis that we're in right now.
Oh, totally. Like, you're not alone.
Yeah, is actually listening to people. Instead of, like, what's happening a lot right now is the more divides on social medias from both sides. Instead of just listening.
Yeah.
Which helps a lot.
No, it's important, just, as a human society, just even if you completely disagree with someone, just to sit down and just hear them out. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them at all. You don't have to agree with them at all. But if, it's good to have a talk with someone and understand why they are the way they are. Doesn't mean you have to see that person again. Doesn't mean you have to agree with them. But it's just, it can help give you more insight about life.
And, like, when a person does when a driver does a stupid thing on the road, let's say. I mean, I used to be guilty of, like, getting mad at them and calling them an idiot, all that stuff. And, I mean, even now, I'll still say it at first, but then I'll stop myself mid-sentence and be like, I don't know what this person's experiencing.
Yeah, you don't know.
And I bet you if I was actually able to talk to them and, they actually opened up and talked about their life, who knows what they're going through?
Yep.
They could have just, they could have just broke up. Like, they could have just be going through a divorce. They could be, their kid passed away.
It could be a new driver.
It could be just, like, lack of experience, and all that. And, like, more often than not, they're aware of the mistake they made.
Oh yeah, huge.
And I think it's important to, like if you're given feedback, I'm going from vehicles to giving feedback now, to just, like, say, oh, you did this, but always make sure you're putting more focus on the positive that they're doing. You just say it, and more often than not, they'll be aware of it, but then you also, like, are saying the positive stuff. So that they know what they're doing right, and they don't lose all encouragement or get worse.
Exactly. You don't want to make them feel worse about themselves.
That helps
go downhill.
It helps with confidence, and that helps with them actually dealing with that.
Yeah.
And that's worked more often than not that I've seen so far in my life.
Yeah.
And then again, this is coming from a 23-year-old guy, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and a 19-year-old girl, so.
But no, it's just something I've noticed myself, and something I try and do. And I've definitely, like, I just feel better that I can have that understanding, or I don't get that angry. It makes me feel better overall.
Oh, totally. I mean, sometimes people will do things that, could be pretty bad, and it's not an excuse for what they've done, but it's sometimes good to have a better understanding, so you can see it you can just understand it better. You're just like, oh, okay, this makes sense to me. Doesn't mean I'm okay with it, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from. Anyway, no, we could keep going here, but we're already, like, an hour and 40 minutes in here. So I guess we'll wrap it up. But I thought it was a pretty damn good podcast.
Think so
And,
too?
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on, and can't wait to have you on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun. We talked about
All
fun
kinds of
creative
things.
stuff to like more deeper stuff. Yeah, to like everything to watermelons.
Yeah, like one thing about me is I'm terrible at small talk.
Same.
But like I like I'm terrible at anything that has to do with small talk. Period. Like we're even like trivial things like talking about cooking or like chocolate or stuff like
oh,
that.
yeah.
I can't. Like my brain just works. I just got to skip the trivial stuff and just go straight to the deep stuff. Like that's just how I work. So if you're here just wanting us to talk about trivial things, which more often is not the case for podcasts anyway, then I'm definitely not that type of person. But so yeah, we'll just usually just skip the trivial stuff and go straight into the more deeper, more passionate things that we're more passionate about. So, but anyway, so yeah, end of podcast 2. I am definitely looking forward to the next one and every podcast to come. And yeah, thanks again, Em.
Yeah, thanks.
And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, and being a great roommate and everything. So,
You too.
all right. So we'll see you guys on the next Odessia podcast.